to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report, and I'd like to start with the S&P 500 here first, because as we know it's kind of central to most markets. So with this particular market here, what I know is that the move down through here is corrective, so that means we'll either be up for wave 1, back for wave 2, and then up for wave 3 here. The other move for this is that because this move is down in 3 waves, we could actually, it still makes the whole thing corrective, but we could end up with a triangle pattern where we have an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here, replicating this pattern here but slightly smaller, and then another 3 waves over here. Yeah, so basically the triangle pattern, so coming through here, so an A and a B and a C and a D, and then an A, B, C, D, and an E wave here. So a triangle pattern occurring across here. But the main point is that this is all bullish, one way or another. So the reason I'm saying this for is because the Australian market, if we can move to that for a moment here, we know that the move currently up here is basically in 3 waves, and it's at the 50-60% retracement area through here. And we know that this particular market is pretty much weighted from the banks, and we know that the Royal Commission on the banks is due out shortly, maybe Monday. I'm not quite sure. I'm not really up with all the news, but I want to talk about the banks, and also want to talk about the materials sector as well. So we basically know that that the US markets are in a bullish mode, so that would kind of put the global markets in a bullish mode, except we've got we're at the gallows basically with our banks. So with our banks, if I can just go into those for a second and come back to this. So what I want to do first is I'll just go to ANZ first. Now, with ANZ here, we know that we're at a medium level here, 25. So that's always a nice number to work with either way. But in a nutshell, the reason I've chosen this market here for is because the move up through here, we know that the US markets are bullish in this particular instance. So I was assuming or thinking or waiting for evidence to see in this case. So this move up from the low here on this daily chart is, we can look at this as wave 1. Wave 2 here, and then this is the nice strong 3rd wave here with 5 waves in it, and then I was looking for an A and a B and a C, and I thought I might have had it on this low here. So I did make a little bit of a mistake yesterday, but as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave, I thought would catch the pullback here and move it up from that point there. So yeah, in a nutshell, looking for basically 5 waves to the upside here. So this is pulled back into this space here now, from this low here to this particular high here. So the wave 4 here, if this is wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, it's pulled down past the 38.2% retracement level. Normally I wouldn't worry about that because we'd be working with this closest largest number here, but you could imagine if this number becomes the resistance here, this market, it might have a little bounce off it and move through it and so on. But if it becomes the resistance here, then this market becomes bearish at this point. And also too, if this moves down through here and takes this top out here, then it's bearish as well. How far bearish will it go? It could certainly come down and take the lows out here, but otherwise we'd need to look at the 24-25 area here, the 61.8%, because this could be a larger correction of an A wave, a B wave down to here, and a C wave coming back up into this space here. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that this would just simply be an A and a B and a C, and then we'll take this low out through here. this particular pattern through here, if I look at this with Westpac here, we can see that a couple of things here. We can see that the move up here is 1 and 2 here, and then we've got the third wave up here. But in this case here, the market has moved down below this top of wave 1 here, so we've got overlapping wave structures here. So we've either got this market here, I mean, I need to explore all the possibilities so we're aware of them. So at this point here, it may just move down to the 61.8% mark here and then move off. So as an A wave here, a B wave here, and then a C wave up here. It's possible, but I also don't think it's the case because it would need a market to pull it up from that point. So, or the Hayne report, of course, the Royal Commission. So, and we just really don't know what's going to come out of the gates on this one. But the two conflicting factors in my mind with the report is that they can't crucify the banking sector too much, but this is the third report they've had into the banking sector, but this time it's a little bit different because this time it's being conducted by lawyers. So they're not interested in supporting the situation as such unless they're being paid off. Who knows? It's just. Yeah. So, but what this is telling me now is it's telling me that this is bearish at this point. And also too, if I can just bring CommBank up here, I'm sorry that these are not labelled. The labelling on the trading levels charting program is not holding, is not working properly. So I've got some guys working on it. So this is CBA here, and this has got a different pattern. So this has started its low way over here where the other markets had its lows here. But with this market here as well, you've known for some time that I felt the move up through here was actually corrective, and we're looking for an A wave and a B wave and a C wave, and then we'd come down and take these lows out here. So this is also proving bearish, but even on a smaller scale here, from this low here to this high here, we're at $70 here. So we do have support here. We do have the 61.8%. So it can move up from here. So also what I'm saying here, the thing to look for is the resistance at 70 here. So once this is breached here, then that makes this bearish as well. So really, Westpac is really leading it lower, so that bearish connotation with all the banks is certainly in play. And the other point here too is that if we look at the materials sector, which our market's made up of finance and resources, and if the banks are moving up, then the resources are moving down, and vice versa in most cases. So when we look at BHP as an example here, I might just, we talked about this the other day. I'll just grab this other chart here because I do have this labelled on this charting program. So we were talking about this the other day, weren't we, where we were looking at this move down here. I had it in two ways. We could be as an A and a B and a C for wave 4, and then would move up for wave 1, back for wave 2, and then we'll go up for 3, 4, and 5. So we'll end up at $40 up here somewhere. The other point here is that it could have been that this was wave 1 down here, and then an A wave and a B wave and a C wave to this point here, and then would move down for 1 and back for 2 and down again. But as soon as we move past that little point here, that solidified that we would be in a bullish market. So what we're seeing here is that we're seeing resources to start with being bullish, and that would just, in my tiny little mind, would make the finance bearish. So I think we can expect this to be bullish for quite some time, and we can expect the banks to be bearish for quite some time. But we don't know. It's going to be driven by by news headlines for the banks. So but money is shifting from the banks into this market, and it has been for quite some time. So and this of course will be the same for the other markets as well. Well, start with Rio here as well. Daily chart for Rio. So I didn't want to chase these markets. I mean, I'd mentioned them to you, but we just need to wait for some pullbacks to come into play here. So at 90 here for Rio is going to, consolidate here, but this is bullish, and all this is a little third wave moving up here. So we should see Rio at $100 eventually. And we've got also, well, there's lots of them. FMG is another one, of course. So the thing with FMG though here, this is going back to 2016 here. The move down through here this is 5 waves here. So an A wave and a B wave, and then 1 and 2 and 3, a little bit short here, 4 and 5 here. And the thing I like about this, the A wave was really sharp down, and the C wave is a bit more lazy. So that tells me that this market is incorrect, because if this was the third wave coming down here, then we would see it just as move down just as quickly as the first move here. The other point here too is that, oops, wrong indicator thingy. So in this one here, we're also at our 61.8%. So we should see this market here also push up much higher here as well. So in fact, it should take out this high here. So we should see this up at the $8 mark here. So with your portfolios and things, this just sort of helps a little bit, just wanted to sort of open up that particular channel a little bit more. So we will enter some of these mining stocks, but when we're using CFDs, the leverage is so high, so we have to we have to wait for a pullback in all of these. So that's what we'll do there. Back to the ASX 200 here. So we know that this market is governed pulled around by the banks. So I don't know if we're going to see this move up here. I don't know if we should label this, well, currently it's 3 waves up here. If we get another high here, then we can start looking at it being 5 waves up, and I can remove these here, and then we can look at this being the same as the US. So we can look at this as being wave 1 up here or wave A up here. But we do need to make a new high here just to confirm that that we're on the right track here for higher ground. Otherwise, this is going to be pulled down by the banks. And the other thing too is that this can get really messy in here as well. So be mindful of that, because when we've got the finance and the resources moving in the same direction, then we see the ASX 200 put its wings on and just fly. It moves so fast. But when we've got banking, when we've got the banking being bullish, then that will be on the same side as the US banking, Goldman's and all the rest of it, because that's what Goldman Sachs and all the rest of them have got this move up through here as well. So then the ASX will be pulled in that way. But because resources are moving up and banking is moving down, it's going to make it extra messy. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to work out with all of this. So if I just go to the hourly chart here for a moment, we just need strategy here, because I just don't have a nice clean count for us here. So last time we spoke, we were looking for any long trades to be above the top here. So we'll still play that in mind. This little move down through here is in 5 waves. So it's either going to have a little ABC back up to here, and then it's going to move down again. So you can short this low here, because if this low gets taken out, then we're going to be coming down to the 5.8 here. If this market moves above the 5.9, then you can go long from that point. So I can label it in different ways here, but I don't think it's worth it at this particular stage to put too much weight on the count in this particular space. Our aim was to get to 5.9 because that was our 50-60% retracement, or 61.8% retracement level area, and we're just seeing what comes out of the gates here. And the gate is the range that we've got. So this high now, we knew about that, and now we can use this high because we've got 5 waves down here. If this does move down, then it'll move down in 5 waves, so we can count that as wave 1. It'll move back for wave 2 here, and of course. So I mean, I'd pull out we can have a look at the 61.8%, but it's not the end and be end in this particular case here, because because there's too much in here. So it could end up anywhere. So we could have a little A, B, and C here for this space, or it can just move straight down from this area through here. So so wave 1 here, wave 2 here, that'll be down for wave 3, 4, and 5. So, but 5, 8 would be the target area down here for the short, and then we'd simply have to wait to see if this became the retested resistance. If 5, 9 becomes the support, then we can look up at 6,000, okay? And then I'll know where we are at that particular stage with all of this. So anyway, that's the video for today, and I'll just cover the Nifty here as well. So with the Nifty here, we're looking at tactics as well. I'm looking possibly at this being a low in place here. I know that this whole move up here doesn't count very well as a bullish pattern, but we know India is a bullish country if they can get their 3 negatives in place, if Mundi can do that. So get rid of some of the bureaucracy which he's been doing and the corruption. So, but still, with this market here, we're just going on strategy. So once again, we've got 5 waves down into this low here. So that means that if this low is taken out, we can go short here. So we should already be long here now above this high here. And we can also look to go long over here as well. So this has moved up quite significantly here, but it's into resistance area here. So we could also say that this is corrective. So we'll just keep playing this out here. But if you're long here now, then this green line needs to be your stop here. And then we would see this move up here for wave 1 here, and then pulling back into wave 2 in this space here, and then we can look to move in long here, and we can also look to move in long over here as well. But this is also the short trade below here for the stop and the short trade here. So we're just working the strategy and the probability of things occurring at this stage, because this can be counted as corrective up here to this point. It can also be counted bullish as well. So it's doing the same thing as the Australian market. This is the 61.8%, roughly around 11,000 here. So we need to see this number become the support for this market to be bullish. We're just trying to get in a little bit, do a few little trades in here early to build through here, if that's going to be the case. Alrighty, cheers.